Welcome to Mr. West Class. In this video I will be explaining how to find all the factors for a particular number. That means try to find all the numbers which a number such as in this case 48, all the numbers that can be divided equally into. To do that we're going to have a couple tools we can use. Over here on the right we have a divisibility sheet. It gives us some hints just by looking at a number if the number is divisible by certain other numbers. Another tool that we can use is a multiplication chart if that's needed. Alright, so let's start off. Over here on our list you see we have 1, 2, 3. We want to do this systematically. We want to try to find all the factors, so we don't want to leave anything out. So we start with 1 and we work from there. So it says over here on the right side 1 is a factor for every number. So we want to start off with 1 because 48 can be divided into groups of 1. We just need to figure out 1's partner now. Like 1 times what equals 48? Well, it'd be 1 times 48. So this right here is one set of factors. 1 times 48 equals 48, which means that 1 and 48 are both factors of 48. 48 can be divided by 1 and it can be divided by 48. Now let's check out number 2. Over here on our sheet it says right here that 2 is a factor for all even numbers. Now since 48 is an even number, that means that 2 is a factor. That means 48 can be divided by 2. We just need to figure out 48 divided by 2. What's the answer to 48 divided by 2? Well, dividing anything by 2 just means cutting it in half. So half of 48 would be 24. So that means since 2 times 24 equals 48, that means that both 2 and 24 are factors of 48. 48 can be divided by 2, and 48 can be divided by 24. Next up on our list we need to check is the number 3. And the rule for number 3 says, it's kind of like a cool magic math rule here, that if you take your target number and you add the digits together, so 48, 4 plus 8, if you add them together and you get a number that is a multiple of 3, then the target number is also divisible by 3. So 4 plus 8 equals 12. Now, since 12 is a multiple of 3, that means that 3 is going to be a factor of 48. So the next part is just trying to figure out what 3's partner is going to be. So 3 times what is going to equal 48. Now something that you can always do off the side of your paper is take your target number, and we know 3 is going to be a factor. So we can divide by 3, and we can just do a basic division problem here. And as long as you have no remainder, that means that these two are both going to be factors of 48. So 3 and 16. So 3 times 16, these are 3 times 16 equals 48, meaning that both 3 and 16 are factors of 48. Okay, next number is 4. The rule for 4 says that 4 is a factor if 2's partner is even. So take a look at 2's partner right there. 2's partner is 24. That's an even number. That means that 4 is also going to be a factor of 48. Now to figure out 4's partner, we can use our basic multiplication facts here because 4 times 12 is 48. But if the numbers are bigger and you might not have those facts memorized, another trick we can do would be 4's partner will always be half of 2's partner. 2's partner is 24, and half of 24 is 12. So 4 times 12 is 48, meaning that both 4 and 12 are factors of 48. Next up on our list is the number 5. And 5 is going to be a factor of all numbers that have a 5 or a 0 in the ones place. And as you see, we have an 8 in the ones place right there. So that means that 48 is not divisible by 5. You can't take 48 and put it into groups of 5. So 5 is not a factor, so we are not going to put 5 up here on our list. Let's take a look at 6. The rule for 6 says that 6 will be a factor if both 2 and 3 are factors. And you see we got 2 up here, we've got 3 up here. That means 6 is going to be on our list as well. Now to find out 6's partner, we can just do we can use our basic facts. We know that 6 times 8 is 48. But also 6's partner will always be half of 3's partner. And half of 16 is 8. Now the next number is 7. We gotta check out 7. And 7's kind of a tricky one. There is no rule and no hints. We just need to, if the number is too large, we might just need to divide and see if there's a remainder. But we can use our basic facts, and we know that nothing times 7 gives us 48. So 7 is not going to be a factor. The next number we must try is 8, but 8's already on our list. See how 8 is right there? Our job right now is to find all of the different factors of 48. And since 8's already on our list, that means we're done, okay? Once we've kind of crossed over to the bottom row here, that means we have found all the different factors of 48. So these are all the possible ways to multiply two numbers and get 48. These are all the factors of 48. Now this is a lot of work right here. And for an answer, if the answer is how many factors does 48 have, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 48 has 10 factors. Here's another example. Let's take a look at the number 90. Again, we're trying to find all the different factors of 90. All the sets of numbers that we can multiply together to give us 90. We always start off with 1 and that target number, which in this case is 90. Always 1 times 90. So now let's try 2. 2 is a factor for all even numbers. 90 is an even number. And 2's partner for 90 would be half of 90, which is 45. So 2 times 45 equals 90. So those are both factors. For the 3, add together all the digits and see if it's a multiple of 3. So 9 plus 0 equals 9. And 9 is a multiple of 3, which means that 3 is going to be a factor of 90. So now we just need to figure out 3's partner. 3 times what equals 90? Well, you could always do this. 90 divided by 3 and do a basic division problem. It would be 3 times 30. 3 times 30 equals 90, so we'll put 3 and 30 for a set right there. Okay, so let's see, what do we do? We checked 1, 2, 3, next one is 4. 4 is a factor if 2's partner is even. Take a look at 2's partner. 45 is an odd number, so 4 is not going to be on our list for 90. 4 is not a factor of 90. Let's take a look at 5. 5 is a factor for all numbers that have a 5 or a 0 in the ones place. 90 does have a 0, so that means that 5 will be a factor. 90 can be divided evenly by 5. So now we need to figure out 5's partner. So we have 90 divided by 5. So by doing our division problem, we've learned that it's 5 times 18 is 90. 5 times 18 gives us exactly 90. All right, so we checked out 5. 6. 6 will be a factor if both 2 and 3 are factors. You see we have 2, we have 3. That also means that 6 is going to be a factor. So we could do this division problem again. We could do 90 divided by 6. Or 6's partner will always be half of 3's partner. 3's partner is 30. So 6 times 15 equals 90. So we tried 6. Let's try 7. There's no rule, no hint. We have to divide. So we have 90 divided by 7. So we know that 7 can go to 90 12 times because 12 times 7 is 84. But we have a remainder. We have a remainder of 6. And anytime you have a remainder, that means that the number that we were trying, 7, is not a factor. So 7 doesn't go on our list. Next up we have 8. 8 is going to be a factor if 4's partner is even. Well, up here on our list, 4 doesn't exist at all, so 4 can't have an even partner, so 8 cannot be on our list. 8 is not a factor of 90. Nothing times 8 would give us 90. Next one to check is 9. 9 is a factor if you add together the numbers and get a multiple of 9. So 9 plus 0 is 9, and 9 is a multiple of 9, so that means that 9 is going to be on our list. And we can use our basic multiplication facts to figure out that 9 times 10 is 90. So we checked out 9, and then 10. 10 is a factor if there's a 0 in the ones place, and there is a 0 in the ones place of 90, but 10's already right here on our list. We're not going to put 10 again. We're just trying to figure out all the different factors of our target number. 10's already up there, which means that we've found all of the possibilities, all the factors of 90. And in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 90 has 12 factors. So in order to make sure that we didn't leave anything out, we use this sheet. And we check each one. We check 1, we check 2, we check 3. We go through the whole list to make sure we didn't leave anything off. Let's do one more example. This one's an odd number, 63. Now the only way that you can get an odd number by multiplying is by multiplying odd numbers times other odd numbers. So 63 can only be divided evenly by other odd numbers. The only factors of odd numbers will be other odd numbers. So that means over here on our chart, we can totally forget about all the even numbers. The number 63 cannot be divided evenly by any even numbers. All right, so 1 and 63, we always start off with the number 1 and the target number. There's one combination that will give us 63. Now let's take a look at, so we tried 1, let's consider 3. This is where we have to add together the digits in the target. So we have 6 plus 3 equals 9, and 9 is a multiple of 3, which means that 3 is going to be on our list. And if we divide 63 by 3, we get 21, which means that 3 times 21 equals 63. So we get our 3. Let's check 5. 5 is a factor of all numbers that have a 5 or a 0, and 63 does not have a 0 in the ones place, so we don't have to worry about 5. Here we come up to difficult number 7, but we can use our basic multiplication facts to know that 7 times 9 is 63. So there's another set of factors, 7 times 9. Cross off 7. Remember, we were able to skip over 8 because it's an even number, and that brings us to 9. 9's already up here on the list. So right here on the bottom. So we're not going to put it again. And that means we have found all the factors for 63. In this case, there are 6 factors.